Hello, everybody. I'm Michael Monaco.
And I'm Bobby Salvesen. We are the Hazmat Guys, bringing you knowledge and insight to make your job a little bit easier and safer.
Let's take a minute to hear about today's sponsors.
Hey guys, time to level up. New and exciting detection technologies are available, and All Safe Industries can help you navigate the details to make the best choice for your hazmat team. All Safe Industries, where your job is a safer you. Call or click today. Hey guys, Bobby from the Hazmat Guys here, and have you noticed that threats have evolved but decon hasn't? Well, that's until now. Hybrid decon is the latest evolution of decon tools and techniques. The concept of hybrid decon has been getting a lot of attention in the hazmat community, but what exactly is hybrid decon? Well, First Line Technology, which are the developers of Dahlgren Decon and FiberTech wipes, have produced a downloadable 24-page brochure that explains the concept of hybrid decon and why it is a major improvement over either wet decon or dry decon alone. This brochure answers all the questions you might have about how to simplify your hazmat response. You'll learn why using Dahlgren Decon and FiberTech wipes together will reduce the time it takes to set up, mix, apply, and clean up after or during an incident. You can download this free copy of What is Hybrid Decon brochure at www.firstlinetech.com or simply click on the ad below on our website.
Let's get to the show.
Hey, welcome back to another episode of the Hazmat Guys. I'm Bobby Salvesen, and I'm here with Mike. Hi, Mike.
Hey, what's going on, Bob?
Oh, nothing. We're just here sweeping up some stuff, hanging out with a good friend. And let's just get the mumbo jumbo out of the way that everybody expects in the beginning.
Nowhere. We're going to be nowhere.
Well, no, I just heard Massachusetts is up and running.
Ooh, one of easily my favorite conferences in the whole wide world.
Yes, so it sounds like it's going to be a run and gun battle between Massachusetts and Cold Zone for the only two contenders for this year. Who could? That's going to be a tough one. That's going to be a tough one. Two of my favorites.
Yeah, but you know what? Cold Zone doesn't have the Plymouth Rock.
The Plymouth Pebble, yes.
The Pebble.
Truth, as they say.
That's
truly underwhelming. So we are here with, we were just looking this up before the show started, how far back we go. And we are on episode 241 of the Hazmat Guys podcast. And this gentleman was on episode number 11. Hi,
11.
Jeff.
Hello.
11.
Hey.
11. Like I said, couldn't break the top 10, unfortunately. But
it is
just outside.
The incredible, edible Jeff Zeintek.
Oh, my God.
Hey, getting back to Massachusetts. Now, I heard they were not going to have it.
They just did it. They literally yesterday, the date of this recording, it's a couple of days before this release, and they just said we are doing it. So hot off the presses, you might not even heard, but you know where to come for your information right here. Yes. This time it's correct.
Awesome, because I'm with you guys. I love Massachusetts, but I talked to Travis. I thought he might have said that it was not on, but I'll have to get in touch. I love that area. That's awesome.
Oh, it's great. It's awesome.
It's a blast.
Yeah, it's always windy and always dreary.
Yes.
And yeah, it's just it really sucks it out of you. No,
but the bars are great.
The bars,
I had one of my best martinis in there and at the bar there. And it was awesome. Yeah. Yeah. So looking to go back.
Good. We'll hang out together.
All right. It's a deal.
All right, so today's topic, it's kind of a rambling one because I am in the midst, actually it's one day away from being complete, and I'm in the midst of teaching the brand new technicians for our entity that me and Mike maybe partake in. And one of the students, we were going over confined spaces, and which is almost by definition is a hazardous materials like zone, right? So he says to me, do we really need to deal with monitoring in a confined space? And at first I kind of was like, you should know this. And then I said, you know what? He doesn't know this. Let me explain it seriously. So,
but then that's also one of those things that we always revert back to, right? Like we talk all the time about questioning the things that you just assume. And when you asked me this question, the first thought through my mind was exactly that. Like, oh, come on. Yeah, of course of course. Right. Like I've always been taught it's a confined space. It's a hazmat. But then it's like, all right, well, let's take a step back and let's actually unpack this and see if we can deduce for ourselves whether or not a confined space is a hazmat.
Right. So I kind of want to just throw this on the table and by all means state your cases. I honestly, I would like to hear your perspectives on, is it important to confined space monitor? Like, is it a big deal? Because I have some, one of my friends from Los Angeles area threw something at me and I was like, that's an interesting thing to think about. It was kind of flipping the coin, and I want to throw that in there later. But Jeff, what do you think about the concept, just the general concept of confined space monitoring? Is it important?
Well, I think it's really important, and if for nothing else, it's good. That muscle memory thing. We get a lot of confined spaces here for some reason or another. I'm not really sure why. I've been involved with many of them. A lot of them are just guys, vagrants that get stuck in a manhole. They crawl in somewhere and they're walking down. Obviously, we know that they're fine because they're talking to us. They just can't get out.
Are they fat? Is that why they can't get out?
No, they're actually usually very skinny, and they're generally always naked.
What?
Yes.
What the hell?
Yes.
Oh no, I'm going to get caught in a confined space.
Well, you could probably imagine what they were doing, but I've been on calls where I'll look at somebody and I'll go, I'll bet you this guy's naked. And sure enough, he comes out on a ladder and he's naked. So yeah, a lot of times we know that these people are fine because they're talking. It's like the canary syndrome. Mm-hmm. But the thing is that it's good muscle memory to do it, because if we don't do it then, will we do it at that blink of an eye when somebody's down there and we're thinking, maybe they just had a medical emergency and they're down there. And the thing is as much as I do, that in the fire service, we always have that safety factor built in, right? Mm-hmm. And the thing is that, you monitor it right off to make sure that nothing crazy is going on. And then you continue to monitor it because things can change. So my perspective is it doesn't take a whole lot to throw a monitor down there or to throw tubing down there to get a read, because you have to, generally you're not going to jump in there right away. You have to get prepared of some sort.
You got to set your rope and your rigging and your air supplies and etc.
Exactly. Even if you're going to go down in turnouts and SCBA, because you can see the guy at the bottom, and you've decided you're going to do a rescue, but you still have to monitor the air because you never know what'll happen. Mm-hmm. Just a whole bunch of things could happen. When we had one confined space up in the North Valley, when they were pulling one of the victims out, one of the guy's mask went to the side, and he quickly readjusted. Had his mask came off, he could have been another victim because the space was invaded. But we knew that because there were 3 bodies stacked on top of each other. But the thing is that it's good practice, and it's actually required if we're going to get into a permanent confined space through OSHA. The problem lies, in my opinion, is you really should, someone who's monitoring it, who's watching the monitor, should actually know how that monitor works and be able to interpret it. Mm-hmm. Now, we used to teach we still teach our TRT guys that some of them are in hazmat to work on a monitor or look at a monitor. But that thing, and we talk about this all the time, if the O2 goes down by 0.2% or 0.5%, or even 0.9%.
That's an insane amount.
Yeah, it's an insane amount to the hazmat guys, but when the monitor's not going off for that TRT guy, he's thinking everything's cool.
Yeah.
Perhaps.
But okay. So let me ask, right? I just want to kind of play devil's advocate here. So mm-hmm. Forgive me. Who cares? Like, and I'm not being a prick. Like, literally, who cares? They you're going in on a mask, right? So let's say the guy's sitting there watching, he doesn't know a clue about the monitor, and he's just going to, if this thing were to suddenly start beeping, go, hey, this thing's beeping, right? And the oxygen shifts, but not enough to alarm. And the guys are making entry and they're on air, and they're perfectly fine. What does it matter?
Well, you're absolutely right. And we had an incident that happened in Phoenix years and years ago, and they put a monitor on somebody's, and they went down there to grab two people out from a carbon monoxide area, and they came out and the monitor was off, and they said, "Hey, what's with the monitor?" He goes, "It was beeping too much, so I turned it off." Yeah.
I do that all the time.
So yeah, in that guy's case, it didn't matter, and they were set up for the rescue. They had their own air supply. But the other thing too is that what you have to realize is that sometimes when we monitor the air down there, we also might choose a different PPE or CPC, depending on what is down there. Now, we don't have a lot to choose from, but we have done recently rescues in 1992 gear. Just because of what's on the walls and stuff like that. But then again, if you're going to go down there and you're thinking that you're going to get all that stuff on you, but then you have a flammable atmosphere, do you want to be in a 1992 garment in a flammable atmosphere?
All right, so let me just inject two things, because this is where I'm right in your wheelhouse where you're speaking right now, is that I can minimize my hazards down to basically two classes: flammability and toxicity.
Right.
Because, asphyxiant, radiation, come on, let's get real. It's not real here. Asphyxiant, just put on your SCBA, and that's done. So the only two I really have to concern about is flammability, which, put this in perspective, 65% of all chemicals are flammable, and all but 13 go down. So that's a real deal. Like, that's a serious concern for me. But if I go to toxic, let's say I go to your level B, or let's go to the granddaddy for a second. Let's say for some weird lightning strike type operation, you have to go to a level A. You get into like, okay, if I have to go on rope, how am I putting my rope gear on a level A? And you start convoluting this thing, where if you talk to, and this specific guy that we're speaking to that actually gave me this question was like, we go down in fire gear anyway, so we're good, right? And I'm like, kinda.
Mm-hmm.
Well, so like,
it depends.
Don't do that.
Well, believe it or not, we actually had this discussion on a call we were on where we had two victims in a sump area, and our meters told us that we had hydrogen cyanide in that hole. Now, how it got in there, we're like, I have no idea. But we had a guy on our research team that is a stand-up guy. I mean, this guy is legit. Mm-hmm. And we said, what's with the cyanide? He goes, man, I don't know. And I said, so what are you thinking we should go down? And he goes, I'm thinking level A. He goes, but I don't want to send guys down to level A. And we were like, we don't either. Yeah. So it came up in there because it's transdermal. And we didn't want to send guys. And it was a recovery. It wasn't anything that we weren't, and this is maybe where this is going to come in play.
Okay.
Maybe not on a rescue, but maybe on a recovery. We didn't want to send our guys down there, fast action, just for that. And then getting, possible hits on hydrogen cyanide. Turns out that, we found out that it's cross-sensitive to hydrogen sulfide, large quantities of hydrogen sulfide. But who monitors a confined space with a hydrogen cyanide sensor? It just so happens, usually we're on a 4 or 5 gas. It just so happens they threw a monitor down there that had several exotics in there, and we're like, okay, now we have to deal with this. Now,
but even hydrogen sulfide is flammable at a certain point.
It is, but it's far more toxic before it's flammable, right?
Totally.
So yes. So you do. So if you get, so we sent them down there in the 1992 suits because the walls and they were just covered in this thick green pea soup. And what else are we going to put them in? We don't want to put them in their jumpsuit gear because that stuff will just soak in and it might get on their skin. So we chose to put them in 1992 gear, but we wanted to make sure that we were outside the flammability range, but we were still, we were still above the toxicity range, but we weren't in the flammability range yet. So this is where the meters really came into play, because we were able to use them, and we were able to interpret to see where we are at in terms of that flammable toxicity thing. So yes, Mike, I totally agree with you. What difference does it make? Because it's sometimes, like one of them we went down, it was just CO2 displaced the air. You could go down there in SCBA and flip flops and shorts, right?
Right.
No big deal. But it's good practice, and it's you just never know what you're going to find in these places. And more and more of these chemical places that we go to, they have to be big vats, and the areas where you can walk in, they have these manways on the top and stuff, and you just never know what's going to be in there. So I think it's just good practice, and it gives us a chance to really look at not only our PPE, but then the viability of the person, rescue and recovery.
Right. If I have it like this guy, and we didn't have a conversation for very long. I'll be honest with you. Most of this conversation happened in my head, and but I'm thinking to myself, okay, if I have toxic, and again, I think this is a 4-panel discussion, because it's like, is it toxic or flammable? Is it a rescue or recovery? Because I'll play them all 4 of those things different ways, or at least 2 things, the 4 variants different ways. But what I'm saying is the guy was almost alluding to, like, if it's a flammable, I'm wearing bunker gear, I'm good. And I'm like, but you're on a flammable rope. Are you really good?
Mm-hmm.
Like, your rope is nylon. It will absolutely, when you put 200 pounds of somebody on it, you are going to snap it.
Yeah, and even then, right? Like, we've seen manholes go off that just become flamethrowers.
Right.
So,
yeah, you
like,
guys
okay,
get that
great.
a lot.
Yeah, like, all right, wow, that's phenomenal. I'm in bunker gear, but even a flashover, what do they say? 5 seconds, 15 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And again, and all that plays into monitoring your meters and putting somebody on those meters that actually knows how to read them and interpret them. And if you're going to do a confined space entry, and especially into a permitted confined space, and we all know that stuff happens later on down the road, but if you're not monitoring that, something, God forbid, happens, they're going to come back and they're going to go, hey, where's your confined space entry permit? Where's your how much were you metering? And if you don't have any of that stuff, you're going to be in trouble.
Creek.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. In this litigious world, I mean, that's just it's just another thing to cover your ass.
Hey guys, Bobby from the Hazmat Guys here, and emergency responders across the country rely on CAVCOM for mission-critical two-way radio communication. CAVCOM's Talk Through Your Ears technology is compatible with any suit, any respirator, and any two-way radio. As an in-suit communication experts, CAVCOM has developed a completely independent communication system that can be truly advancing to your team's ability to stay fully connected regardless of the task at hand. Whether you're working from a command position or responding downrange, their two-way communication solutions deliver the clarity, durability, and reliability that extreme situations demand. CAVCOM will be at the 2020 IAFC in booth 321, where you can experience a live demonstration, and you can see and hear the difference with Talk Through Your Ears. If you can't make it to IAFC, call today for an on-site demonstration of this revolutionary system at 866-547-4988, or visit the website for additional information at cavcominc.com. That's CAVCOMINC.com. All right, let's pick up where we left off.
Okay, so all right, so let me ask, from the point of view of somebody who's, because I be honest with you, I used to do confined space many years ago. I haven't touched it in about 20 years. What if you have somebody who's sitting there monitoring, right? And like, let's say I'm a hazmat guy, and I really don't know a whole lot about confined space. I know a lot about the meter, and I know a lot about hazmat. As a confined space guy, what is the information that you would want to know from that meter? And is that generally going to be something different than I would think was important?
Well, obviously, we want to know what's down there, and it's it's going to give us an idea of if our PPE is going to protect us or our CPC. Um, you know, perhaps if we're going to need to be deconned. Couple things in there, and are we going to be in a possible flammable atmosphere, or are we looking at a toxic atmosphere? So, I mean, there's a lot of things obviously that are important for us. And even if it's hey, we're getting normal readings, zeros in every category except 20.9 and O2. Even if we're going down there, we still want to keep our meter on us to make sure that nothing else is happening. If we have to go down and take a left and then take a right, to go somewhere, there's a good chance that something else could be down there. Maybe some H2S that's building up in a certain area. It just hasn't gotten to another area by now.
So you would almost do a multiple meter, like because for us we take a meter, put it on a long tube, throw it down the hole and monitor the bottom of the hole. You actually would do that plus have a meter on the entry guy.
We always put a meter on our entry guy. Always. We went to smaller portable ambient air 4-gas meters. So they work great because the response time is pretty negligible to a pumped meter. They're not as big, and then they're just simple 4-gas. We're not talking about PID or VOCs or anything because, for a guy going down there, I mean, there's a chance we're going to run in there, but we're not going to know what it is anyways. Right. But it's good for them because if it starts to go off, then they have an idea that perhaps the atmosphere has changed from when they went in, and then right. And then with the meters now, the technology, wireless, they don't even have to look at it. Sometimes we just throw it back to host controller and somebody's watching and they go, hey, they just went down 0.5% in O2. Because they're not going to know that, but we may be able to know that. So the way technology is now, I mean, that's a good thing to have.
Yeah, we have the new meters that me and Mike are playing with now have a confined space mode, and okay. So if everybody knows this, if you throw, let's say, a 50-foot hose in there, it takes, I don't make up a number, 50 seconds. But when you're standing over that hole and they're rigging up this stuff, and it could be like 2-3 minutes. I mean, it could be. So when you're standing over that hole and they're rigging this stuff and they're, you got the thing down there. How long is 50 seconds? 2 minutes? You're like, I think it's close. And it's probably like 12 seconds. It's like when you went to a fire and you're like, it was like a ballroom and they're like, it was a closet. You're like, you have no perspective of time and space when you're in an emergency. Right. And so now this thing, when you say confined space mode, you say how many feet with the hose, and it will not put a number up until the time is done.
Okay.
So it actually kind of keeps your feet to the ground. It's a pretty good feature.
Right. We just do 1 second per foot, which is pretty standard. But as we know that a pump meter is definitely going to take a little bit longer, and the longer the tube is, the longer it's going to take. But we'll set it there, and we'll just we'll tie it up. And we'll set it there, and it'll just stay there. And then, we're kind of like you guys. We got guys on top of guys, so we can put a guy on that to just watch that meter. And then we usually go every 5 minutes. We'll track. We'll write down what we're getting, just for tracking purposes. The real problem comes is that these other smaller hazmat teams, which there's more of them than there are of us. They may not have a person dedicated to be able to sit there, because all their people are wearing different hats and they're trying to do different things, and they don't have the luxury of having one guy stay there. But again, in my book, monitoring the air and constantly monitoring the air is really important because I'm on the hazmat side too. I'm on the confined space side too. I'm the rope rescue guy, but the meter is our bread and butter, and it tells us yes, no, and then after that, it tells us how much. But I'm just really, into keeping guys safe and making sure the air is quality.
Let me ask you this. And again, Mike hasn't done it in 20 years. I've been out of the at least rescue side of the business for at least 10. But I got a fair amount of experience in there. Would you ever consider going into a confined space in a level A? Like legitimately, like and this is where I'm thinking, if you have somebody that's down there and you require level 8 on those few and far between types of jobs, this is automatically recovering.
Yes.
Like, so do we want to commit? I would rather change the air, stop the leak, and modify the environment than go into a confined space in a level A. I just think it's so counterproductive to do that.
Yeah.
You know,
well,
yeah.
Like we said, we had a discussion about it on that one incident, and we didn't want to do it. But because we were dealing with what we thought was hydrogen cyanide, I was like, I don't really know what better ways to do. I'm always in for changing the air, and we know that that's one of the things that we have to do prior to entry, unless we're doing a rescue. Anything over 10% or ideal H or 10% LEL, we have to change the air prior to entering. So I'm all for that. I would so be against trying to go in level A. However, we have and I think you guys have seen this. We have those rated rescue harnesses that we always put on our level A guys.
Yeah, I did see that.
Yeah, and we always put those on. It's just something we've done for years and years and years, and we could actually. So we're ahead of the game. If we had to do it, I'm glad I never had to do it, but if we had to do it, we've already got that set up for them, and they're rated. They're rated for rope rescues, so we could do it if we really had to. I certainly didn't. I certainly wouldn't want to do it though.
I think if I were given the option, I know not everybody has that option, but if I were given that option, I think I would shy away from a level A and say, well, maybe this is the time to break out something new, like a 1994 suit.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that would be where I would go. I would go to the 94 if you had that luxury in your department to do it, because I think you would be able to check, a type 1 and type 2 suit would check the boxes of vapor and the form fitting and the abrasion and even a flash and don't hold. I know somebody's gonna be like, no, it's not. I know it's not made for it, but like you get a little peace of mind there.
Yeah, no, I agree. The way those new 1994 garments have come around, I think that's a definite viable option. But like you said, Mike, perhaps it's not in the people's budget. Even for us, we only had 1994s, the MT94s in our FEMA cache. We didn't have any. We didn't carry on the trucks. So basically, we were down to either turnouts, our jumpsuit, 1992, 1991, or we could go to Tyvek. But that's really all we had. But I think that's definitely a consideration. It's just financially, can you do that?
Yeah. Yeah, but if you don't have the money, then change the atmosphere.
Yeah.
Like I mean, it's considerably cheaper. We just got a box fan that is intrinsically safe, so you can actually drop the snorkel down into let's say the bottom of a hole and pull out through the fan casing flammable vapors. And they're not terribly expensive, but they're a hell of a lot cheaper than getting these suits or even the training to do that kind of stuff. And I can completely change the atmosphere and change it, like you said, like from a bunker gear and SCBA to shorts and flip-flops.
Well, and that's another part of the my confined space presentation that I do that's really, really important is ventilation. A lot of people think you just throw some ductwork down there and turn the fan on and you're good. And it's
silly.
No. Because the one incident we had where we had the two bodies on top of each other, we had hydrogen sulfide in there, which we know is heavier than air, and you can't really get an effective draw out if you're putting on supply, because we talk about it tumbles, especially if the opening is smaller than the actual vault down below. So what happens is you're pushing fresh air down there, but it's tumbling, and the bad air is tumbling down in the vault, and it's really hard for it to get out.
You short-circuit it.
You're short-circuiting it, and then when it does come out, there's a good chance it could go back through the fan and then go back down, and it's coming out and it's gathering where you're gathering. So what we did on that one is we just put it on exhaust, and then we blew it out into the parking lot, and it significantly dropped the H2S levels. It worked like a charm.
Wow.
So there is a little bit of art to proper ventilation that really, hazmat people have a little bit more knowledge than the rope guys. So just like you said, Bobby, I mean, it's a little, it doesn't take a lot to think about it, but it's like, okay, we have this option. Let's use this. So I think that's a good point.
This is great. You know what? There's going to be a lot of fodder to talk about this stuff.
Fodder.
And there's so many more parts of the confined space thing that that hazmat guys can do too, and it's just it's fun to talk about it, and it happens so often. I mean, across the country. I mean, it's not it's not every day, but a couple times a year it seems like we run into that, and it's more and more to where I like to tell people it's more and more this combined effort of the hazmat and TRT guys to work to make this thing work effectively.
Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna put out a general call to anybody, because these questions, Mike, they come up regularly.
They do
on confined spaces.
They're never things that we actually think about. I love these questions always come from the new guys. And
yes.
for those of you that just poo-poo the new guys, I've learned so much in-depth crap from the way these guys think as they're coming on. It's phenomenal.
Yeah, I agree. They come up with stuff. We thought we covered all the bases, and then all of a sudden they come up with something, and you're like, "Wow, okay, that's a good one."
Yeah.
I totally agree, Mike. Yeah.
Well, I'll put it out. If anybody has a confined space question, send it to us on our Facebook page or whatever method you want to send it to us, and we will reconvene this council to hash out another weight of the world type confined space question, and hopefully screw it up for you.
Yes. So Jeff,
it's a fun subject.
We are going to let you go do some helicopter rescue or whatever crazy stuff you're about to do tonight.
Oh no, that's I don't do that anymore. But
not in my head. Not in my head.
My new crazy stuff is just riding my mountain bike and my motorcycle. So
nope. I heard helicopter. Bob, what did you hear?
I heard flamethrowers.
I heard that's all I hear.
No, I'm into jets now. I'm flying jets. So.
Jay-Z is also the wildly #1 best-selling author on the New York Times book list. Tell us about the book, Chad.
Oh yeah, the second edition is out, and I am trying to get on the New York Times bestseller list, one book at a time. So it's probably going to take me about, I'm thinking like maybe 2 million years, but that's okay.
Not if we can help it.
But interestingly enough, I have about 3 pages dedicated to hazmat's role in confined space. Ooh. So a lot of the stuff we talked about is in there. I've got expanded parts of some new things. Rescue Mayday, courtesy of Daryl Wiseman. He was kind enough to let me put that in there, which is really important. Updated rail, motor carrier, but it's been fun. It's been exciting. It's cool to hear from guys. I get little, guys will, get in touch with me and they'll give me little things, and then I'll send them books, and then they send back. They go, "Hey, I just read it. It's awesome. I love it." So I love to hear from the guys out there, and I appreciate everybody that's purchased a book.
Yeah,
and
I bought one.
Yes, I remember that. Yes,
absolutely.
Yes.
It's perfect because it's just the right height to take the wobble out of my kitchen table. I just stuck it right under there, and it's perfect.
Well, what I've been doing lately is I sit outside a lot with my Hazmat Guys podcast coffee cup in the morning, and then I hit flies with it.
Oh.
Yes.
It's just heavy enough and thick enough to where it kills them really well. So because I hate when flies land on my coffee cup.
Yeah, it is stout. It is
very stout. So that is my favorite coffee cup, by the way.
Well, it is a very good cup. It is.
It's a good cup because it holds a lot of coffee.
Yes.
It's tall and it's handsome.
It is
like
handsome.
me.
Yeah, exactly. It's handsome.
So where can they find you for anything that you like, especially the book, and where can they find you for any questions?
Well, I have that website, www.hazmatresponseguide.com. and you can get in touch with me there. You can email me at HIRT 1173 at gmail.com. And then if you email me or something and you want to further talk with me, I'll give you my phone number and we'll chat. I love talking with people. So any one of those, I mean, you can get me on Facebook. I don't do too much on LinkedIn and the other ones, but mainly on Facebook. And I do have to say I'm working on this is the first time I've put it out there, but I'm working on a workbook for the hazmat response guide that could be in conjunction with perhaps, maybe like CE for departments or guys or whatever. And I'm really close to finishing that. So that can work with. It's kind of like a study tool with the hazmat guide. So something if you want to brush up on something, it'll tease your brain a little bit. So that's forthcoming.
Awesome, man. Thank you so much for coming on. We're definitely going to do this again.
Well, when you guys coming out to Arizona? Because it is nice this time of year.
Probably later on, never.
Yeah. We did the COVID thing. We're
We'll catch you in Massachusetts.
Yeah. That sounds good. I'll let you guys buy me a beer or a martini.
You got it. Thanks.
I'll buy you guys. Yeah. Hey, not a problem. It's always a pleasure, guys. I appreciate it, and thanks for bringing me on. Thanks to the audience. I greatly appreciate it.
We'll talk to you again in another 238 episodes.
Very cool. Thanks, guys.
Well, that wraps up another episode of the Hazmat Guys.
You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, and our YouTube channel at The Hazmat Guys, and take a moment to call our comment hotline at 843-628-1484.
And we are always looking forward to your feedback about information or interesting incidents that you were a part of, so send us a note at feedback@thehazmatguys.com.
Remember, guys, don't just get on the job, get into the job.